We are looking at a military transition right now that is hasty, is probably being kind, but we are pulling out of that country in mass numbers. We are leaving,
and they know it, and the enemy know
they
it.
do, and we're leaving large amounts of equipment and stuff. Either we're blowing it in place or we're trying to hand it over. But the reality is, the transition there is happening really fast, really rapid, and you have some specific thoughts on transition that I know you want to share with our members, and frankly, hopefully some policymakers and others are watching this. Give us your thoughts on transition and ways that we might do this a little better.
Well, the Washington Post, who's not my favorite newspaper, but sort of like the New York Times, anyway, did a brilliant article on this. And what they said, Scott, was we are blowing up bases and we are, just destroying $5 billion worth of what they call white goods,
right,
which means there's no military equipment in it. And so we began to look into that, and we said, give us the bases.
Right.
We could just think, we could take every refugee and put them in a base. One big base could hold the refugees that are in Afghanistan. We could grab them out of Pakistan where they're causing so much problems and put them into bases. And people say, oh my, you have to rework the bases. Why? You know, a barracks is wonderful if you don't have a house. In 16 below zero weather, if you're living in a tent, you wouldn't be grateful to share a barracks. You'd be thrilled to death. You can put petitions in between, or whatever you want to do. But every orphan, every street orphan, there's so many orphans, and they have nobody to take care of them.
Right.
And they just live on the streets. We could put them, and you see with the NGOs that we have functioning, great NGOs, could take over these bases or parts of the base. They have schools in them. Why build a school? They have hospitals in them.
Right.
Why build a clinic when you've already got a great hospital?
Right.
One of the problems with the hospitals, as you know, that if you don't have somebody trained to take care of the equipment, it becomes a doorstop in about 6 months. But we need those white goods, because just think, a barber chair, that could be a business. An oven could create a bakery. 6 beds could be a hostel for truckers. There's no hotels or anything in Afghanistan. And just the most simple things. They don't even have screwdrivers. They have ways of doing things, but just the tools, the things in the containers. And we have been given, oh, I'm so grateful at last somebody's giving us something. We've been given $20 million worth of containers, which are conditioned to live in. And they have generators, but the generators don't work in Afghanistan. Why they sent them, that's so typical of our country. But anyway, they sent generators that don't work, but they can be reworked. And the Afghans are fantastic. I said, in our little school, trade school, where we taught people how to make things. And what we did, this is really important, Scott, we asked the village elders to take a vote among the people, what would you like to build? And what can you sell right here? Because, getting anything moved around in Afghanistan is almost impossible. So they said they would take a vote. And the people voted. They wanted to make stoves. They wanted to learn to sew, so we got them sewing machines and thread and all those things, with the hope that they could end up making Afghan uniforms for schools, for military, for everything. They wanted to fix bicycles. And the bicycle, they sent me pictures of it. You wouldn't have given it to the Goodwill. But when they fixed it, it looked brand new. It was wonderful. And that's the chief mode of transportation in Afghanistan. And they wanted to weave rugs. But the thing is, they made the decision. And they had to pay for half of everything in the village. That was very, very important, because then they took control of it. It was theirs. Because if you don't, this is really significant, I know you know this, Scott, if you don't include the man in whatever the woman is doing, the sewing machine will end up in the market.
Sure.
And he'll sell it. because his honor is challenged.
That's right.
So you have to always have the man have a job. And that's one of the things we've got to understand. These people are not like us, but they're wonderful. They're wonderful. You fell in love with them. I fell in love with them. They are willing to fight. They're willing to make a safe world over there. They're willing to do anything to do it. But they got to have the raw materials, and they've got to have a little help. And Scott is doing that with his great group. Golly, thank you, Scott.
One of the things that you and I have also talked about is that there's not a lot of coordination or discussion at senior levels back here in the U.S. between Department of Defense and nonprofits on the transition and what the opportunities are. Would you?
They don't even know what's there.
Right.
See, this is what we found out, that one of the reasons they wouldn't turn over the bases or the white goods is they had no inventory. And then another article came out in another newspaper where they had interviewed a lot of the people, and they said that they called this gold dust, because what they do with the residue from bombing the bases and shredding the white goods, it turns into a powder, and they give it to the Afghans to fill in roads. And the Afghans call it gold dust, and they can't understand why we would destroy the things that could actually really solve so many of their problems.
Right, and there are a lot of NGOs out there that are working at a very grassroots level that, if they're not involved in this conversation, should be.
Yes, we come. Join us. Let's join hands. Let's move from village to village to village. You're already doing it, but we could do it together. If you're a small organization, well, that's fine. And we won't tell you how to run it or anything. And if we can get money, we'd love to get it for you. But if you're going to do it at all, do it together. Where we do water with Living Water, say, or agriculture with the people who do the soybeans. We would do the schools with the best school people. Each person would just bring to the table what they do. And nobody would tell them how to do it. Just do it together so that we have all 5 pillars so that they can succeed, because this is what that study that New York University revealed, that they could bring themselves out of poverty, and this can work anywhere in the world, not just Afghanistan. But they have to have the 5 things, and we can do it. Right. And your $50 would really help.
No, exactly right. And we're, for the Stability Institute's perspective, we're certainly with you on the long haul for this, and that includes connecting our network to the effort that's at work here, and hopefully the special operations and advisor community can open doors as well to allow these civilian efforts to come in and complement the security piece. Joanne, I think we've covered a lot of ground, but I want to just wrap up by saying, is there anything that you feel like that we didn't go over, or that you'd like to share with our members about where we're going with Afghanistan and your thoughts for the future and what the opportunities are?
Just to thank you for the SEALs and for the Green Berets and for all the special forces and the sacrifice you all have made. We are so blessed in these heroes. It makes me cry, because they are the answer over there. And then we need to have a population that will support them, protect them, and send them back to us. And we want to protect America. We can, but we've got to understand that we are threatened. That is the most important thing. We can't just go on living day after day after day thinking everything's going to be okay. It isn't.
That's a great way to wrap it up.
But God bless you, and God bless anybody who cares.
Thank you, Joanne. And it's been a real honor to sit with you today and spend time with you. And as we close out, I think the biggest thing that I've taken from spending time with you, and that I hope our members will take, that as we transition Afghanistan, it's going to be tough. We're going to lose a lot of the presence that we have there. We're going to lose a lot of the access that we've had there. But the reality is there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. And it's going to be upon private organizations, nonprofits, NGOs to step up in the absence of that and work together. And you've shown us how to do that with your efforts in Afghanistan in the 70s. And it hasn't lost on us. And we'll hopefully follow your lead as we go into the future, and we'll get Afghanistan, help them get to where they want to be. So really appreciate you sitting down with us today. It's been fantastic having you here. To all of our members, thanks for watching this episode of Stability Institute. We really appreciate you dialing in. Until next time, this is Scott Mann, CEO and founder. Thanks for watching.